Nightcrawler is usually described as a disturbing story about an ambitious man who discovers crime journalism and slowly becomes more dangerous as he chases success. At first, Lou Bloom seems like a desperate outsider trying to survive. He has no real career, no money, and no place in society. So when he discovers freelance camera crews filming accidents and crimes at night, he sees an opportunity. But the more carefully you watch him, the harder it becomes to believe that Lou is simply a desperate man who became corrupted by the business. He doesn't lose his morality because the job changes him. The job gives him a perfect environment to reveal what was already there. Lou studies people, copies the language of successful businessmen, learns how to manipulate weaknesses, and treats human suffering as something that can be converted into money and power. The biggest lie in Nightcrawler is that Lou Bloom was a man who accidentally became a monster. He wasn't. He simply found a business that rewarded the way he already thought. Number 1. Lou isn't desperate for success. He is obsessed with control. From the beginning, Lou behaves differently from someone who is simply struggling to survive. He isn't searching randomly for work. He is constantly observing systems, identifying weaknesses, and calculating how he can place himself above other people. When he sees another cameraman selling violent footage to television news, Lou immediately understands the basic structure of the business. He doesn't care about journalism, public service, or telling the truth. He sees a market where fear has value and realizes he can enter it by becoming the person willing to go further than everyone else. Even before he begins filming, Lou is already manipulating the world around him. He speaks in rehearsed corporate language, memorizes motivational ideas, and treats ordinary human relationships like negotiations. That matters because it proves his transformation isn't caused by the city or by television. Los Angeles simply gives Lou the opportunity to turn his existing personality into a career. He doesn't accidentally discover a darker side of himself. He discovers a profession where his darkest qualities are profitable. Number 2. Lou doesn't film tragedy because he has to. He learns to create better tragedy. The most disturbing moment in Lou's evolution is when he stops being a passive observer. At first, he arrives at accidents and crime scenes after something terrible has already happened. But as he becomes more successful, he realizes that the most valuable footage is the footage nobody else has. That changes his relationship with reality. Lou begins moving closer to the danger, interfering with scenes, withholding information, and eventually manipulating situations so that he can get better material. The home invasion is where this becomes impossible to ignore. Lou doesn't simply document the aftermath of a crime. He enters the house before the police have secured the scene, records the victims, and steals evidence that can later be used to increase the value of his footage. Most importantly, he deliberately fails to tell the authorities everything he knows because the footage is more valuable to him than justice. At that point, Lou has crossed the line between photographer and participant. He is no longer waiting for violence to happen. He has discovered that violence can be managed, delayed, and exploited. Number 3. Nina doesn't hire Lou because he is talented. She helps create the monster she fears. Nina Romina, the news director at KWLA, is one of the most important characters in the film because she understands exactly what kind of footage attracts viewers. She wants crime close to home, dramatic images, and stories that make people afraid enough to keep watching. Lou recognizes this immediately and starts giving her exactly what she wants. Their relationship becomes a business negotiation where both sides know that ordinary ethics are getting in the way of ratings. But Nina also underestimates how dangerous Lou is because she believes she is controlling the relationship. She thinks she can pressure him with money, access, and professional recognition. Instead, Lou studies her insecurities and gradually turns the power dynamic around. He begins demanding better contracts and more control over what he sells, and when Nina rejects his demands, he uses the information he has gathered to pressure her. The frightening part is that Nina isn't creating Lou's behavior, she is simply rewarding it. The station's ratings tell Lou that his instincts are correct, and every time his most disturbing footage succeeds, the system teaches him that going further is the right strategy. Number 4. Rick isn't Lau's partner, he is a business expense. Rick is the closest thing Lou has to a friend, but their relationship reveals how little Lou actually understands loyalty. Lou hires Rick because he needs someone to help him drive, carry equipment, and chase stories faster. He pays him very little while constantly demanding more work, and he uses promises of future success to keep Rick obedient. The relationship becomes increasingly one-sided because Lou never sees Rick as an equal. He sees him as an asset. That becomes horrifying when Lou begins using Rick as bait and knowingly places him in dangerous situations without giving him the full truth. Rick keeps believing that the two of them are building a future together, but Lou is calculating how much risk Rick is worth. The final betrayal proves it. When Rick becomes inconvenient, Lou is willing to sacrifice him to protect himself and secure the outcome of his plan. Rick's death isn't an emotional accident. It is the logical conclusion of the way Lou has treated him from the beginning. Lou doesn't lose a friend in the final act. He eliminates an employee who has stopped being useful. Number 5. Lou's biggest talent isn't camera work. It is understanding what people want to hear. Lou succeeds because he learns to make every person believe that his actions are somehow beneficial to them. With Nina, he talks about ratings and exclusivity. With Rick, he talks about opportunity and career growth. With the police, he pretends to cooperate while secretly protecting his own interests. Even when Lou is clearly threatening someone, he rarely behaves like a traditional villain. He speaks calmly, professionally, and politely, which makes his behavior even more disturbing. He understands that people become easier to control when you disguise manipulation as ambition. That's why his language matters so much. He constantly repeats phrases about goals, performance, and success, as if he is following a self-help program. Lou has essentially built himself into a corporate machine that treats every human interaction as a negotiation. His real talent is not filming blood. It is making exploitation sound reasonable. Number 6. The police aren't really his enemy because Lou knows how to use their limits. Lou's success depends on something that has nothing to do with his intelligence. The fact that the system is not designed to deal with someone like him. Police officers care about solving crimes, journalists care about getting footage, and television executives care about ratings. Lou understands that each institution is focused on a different objective, which means he can move between them and exploit the gaps. At crime scenes, he stays just outside the boundaries of what police can immediately control. At the station, he delivers exactly what producers need. When the police ask questions, he provides enough information to avoid direct exposure while protecting the footage that makes him money. Lou survives because everyone is playing a different game. He isn't stronger than the system. He simply understands that the system is divided, and he knows how to profit from that division. That is why the ending feels so disturbing. After everything he has done, Lou isn't arrested or destroyed. He is rewarded. Number 7. The final scene proves that Lau didn't become a monster. He built a career out of being one by the end of the film. Lou has turned his obsession into a functioning business. He has employees, multiple vehicles, equipment, and a growing operation. The same behavior that should have destroyed him has instead made him successful because the market around him rewards exactly what he is willing to do. That is the final twist of Nightcrawler. There is no moment when Lou suddenly realizes he has become evil because, from his perspective, he has done everything correctly. He followed his own philosophy, and the world rewarded him. The television station doesn't punish him for manipulating crime scenes. It buys more footage. Rick's death doesn't end his career. It creates an opportunity to expand. The police don't expose him. They simply continue working the next case. Lou learns that morality is not necessary for success when the system values results more than the methods used to achieve them. And that makes him far more frightening than a normal movie villain. The biggest lie in Nightcrawler is that Lou Bloom was corrupted by the city, the media, or the pursuit of success. The truth is much darker. Those things didn't create Lou. They simply gave him a market. Lou was never an innocent man who slowly became a monster. He was a predator who finally discovered an industry that rewarded him for behaving exactly the way he already wanted to behave. And the most disturbing part is that in the world of Nightcrawler, the system doesn't punish him for it. It gives him a promotion.